Hi guys, this is Steve. I'm checking in with my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you see this and you like it. Subscribe. It's always good to have more people on. I just like talking about music, talking about bass stuff. You might see me on Bass Musician Magazine reviewing some stuff or talking about some lesson ideas. So today I brought out the M-Bass. Got some cool stuff going on here, but this really isn't the feature of what I'm doing today. So we're going to discuss the minor blues, straight up minor blues. So if you're familiar with it, that's awesome. If you're not, check it out. My recommendations for listening are definitely like check out Coltrane, Equinox, always a good one to check out. Initially it's in C sharp, but the real book it's always in C, so everybody moved it down a half step. Really what we're looking at is a progression. It's 12 bars because it's 12 bar blues. First 4 bars are going to be the 1 chord, which is going to be a minor 1, followed by movement to the 4, the minor 4, followed by returning to the minor 1, and then we're going into a turnaround. So what happens is it goes to the dominant 6, the flat 6 of A flat, to the 5 chord, the G7, and then back to the C minor. So a lot of times when we hear tunes like, for instance, like Equinox, maybe, and then you'll hear that turnaround, which would be there, and then back in. For us, what we're focusing on today is basically looking at how can we make a blues interesting. Because, I mean, you can walk it. Walking is great. If we're playing straight up blues, you're going to be walking. If you're doing like the Stevie Ray Vaughan thing, you're going to be walking. But there you can mix up between whether you're doing like a walking blues or a groovy thing where you're kind of like funking it out a little bit, making it a little bit more interesting. A lot of times when I'm on the gig, that's what I'll do is I'll go between a walk and something that's like an ostinato pattern or some kind of like groove. So a lot of times like I'll focus on that, especially for the first 4 bars, or I'll supplement some kind of chord structure inside there to make it a little bit different, just to kind of change it up a little bit. For us though, I think the big thing is just making it through the pattern. Like I said, first 4 bars, C minor. So let's focus on that. And this is a really easy one to walk on. Now, or to groove on. I mean, let's be honest. So if we're looking at the pattern of the blues, let's go with the blues minor scale first. We have a C, we have an E flat, we have an F, we got a G flat, we have a G, we have a B flat, and we have a C. You have that tritone inside there, which offers a really cool sound. Now, I tend to focus more like thinking about just the natural minor scale or Aeolian inside here. I mean, you could actually play it as Dorian as well. Now, that you will have some clashing, and it's okay to have that dissonance to resolve back to the harmony in most cases. But with something like this, and again, if your ear says it's right, it's generally right. For this, though, what we're looking at is you almost have a static harmony for 4 bars. So how do we make a static harmony interesting? How do we build? How do we create some tension? How do we resolve it? Some of the things that I do is I like to just groove over top of it, so I'm moving in between a groove or a pattern that's kind of like a walking pattern. So I'm going to use iReal Pro. I have it set to about 100 BPM. It's in the key of C minor. So if you know your C minor scale, it's going to be C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, C. That's our Aeolian. That's our natural minor. So here we go. We're going to get that started. It's going to click us in. And we're going to start there with a walk pattern. Dramatic. There's that turnaround, that A flat 7, G flat or G7, turnaround. that was some of our ideas for a groove pattern over top of that, walk and groove. Another thing is with this is it's an easy place to kind of like start to solo. So if you're building out your solo ideas from there, you're really looking at, 4 chords at total, because we have a C minor, we have an F minor, we have an A flat 7 and a G7. So 2 dominants and 2 minors. So we could think about it a couple different ways. We could use those that blues scale, pentatonic blues scale mashup. We could also use guide tones, which is our thirds and our sevenths. We could also just use scale patterns, or we come up with shapes. We could use fifths, we could use fourths, we could use minor thirds. We can build and stack intervals to create some interest inside there as well. So with this, and like I said, you can also use that Dorian over top of that. Let's go back to the pattern, and here we go for a solo. Here's my third. Back to that Dorian. My A flat. Guide tones. Scale. Scale. So that puts us there. So kind of running through that, we kind of end up with some different ideas. I mean, I'm just running ideas. Really the best place to bounce these ideas off is with your teacher or whoever you're studying with or any kind of good book that you're reading. But you need somebody to bounce those ideas off. Just doing it yourself isn't always the answer, as we all know. So that's kind of my approach to minor blues. I'm sure everybody else has their own take. I like to build out from there, so if I'm going into something that's a little bit more complex, if I'm playing through Donna Lee, or I'm playing through Giant Steps, or I'm playing through that, this is my foundation. This is kind of where I get my start from and build out, whether it's just this or warm-ups. But I hope it works for you. I hope if you have any ideas, any feedback, give it to me, because I love to hear it. If you have anything that you'd like to throw out there, I like discussion. Please don't be a jerk and just like dislike and just be like, because nobody likes that person. Nobody likes that person. Give your reason. If you don't like it, there's a reason. Just be honest about it. It's like anything. It's like I tell this to my high school students. If you don't like it, that's fine. But you have to know why you don't like it. Just giving it a thumbs down and being a jackass just dismisses and makes your point moot. So back up your argument. Again, this is just my take on it. This is the way I work through it. If you want to do something different, please share. I'd love to know. It's awesome to see who else is out there and share ideas and really make this a community thing, because this is kind of the ecosystem that I'm kind of trying to build, is that community. So I hope you guys are well. I hope 2018 finds you well. Let's chat. Be well.